The Earth Charter is a document that was created by the peoples of the Earth. So after a long consultation, the letter, the charter came up, and it's something that defines the principles for sustainable development of the entire planet. So it's not something that was created by someone, but is a kind of a consensus, what the peoples do want. And so it's a great guide for anyone in the world that would like to have a reference, a big reference to conduct their work towards a more sustainable work, more sustainable life in the planet. So it is a reference that should be delivered or returned to the peoples. So it's a free document, a document that should be utilized by everyone the way they want. And this is the phase the Earth Charter is reaching now, because right now the principles for a kind of a biological multiplication is there, and the peoples again should utilize the Earth Charter content and adapt it to utilize the principles in their own contexts. So there are many different contexts in terms of problems of each country, the characteristics of the people, the culture. So there are many, many different settings in the world. So the next phase is to let the charter free so that people can utilize the spirit of the charter, adapt it to the needs of the local context, and so be very effective in the process of collaborating worldwide to make this ideal world happen. So this is the power of the Earth Charter. The Earth Charter principles or the spirit should be well understood. So, of course, education in terms of comprehension of the essence of the Charter is important, so to avoid misinterpretations. But actually to utilize the whole potential of the Charter. The Charter is something that considers sustainability from the point of view of valuing, honoring all kinds of life in the planet. And from that you have this idea of ecological integrity that is derivation or something that derives from this honoring all kinds of life in the planet. So ecological integrity, but also honoring life in their essence, leads to economic justice and social and economic justice. And also it takes us to peace, absence of all sorts of violence. So as to understand the systemic issues or systemic view of these four elements, life, integrity, justice, and peace, it requires some thinking, some deep thinking, so that so everyone can grasp the systemic nature of the principles. So education is important, but more than just education in the sense of the traditional process of teaching and honoring more heavily the rational part of the people. The education process should touch the spirit of the people so that they can understand why the Charter is important, and mostly how the principles should embed everything that everyone does in the daily life. Being you the president of a country, being you the executive of a corporation, or a normal citizen. So this is what the education process should emphasize. But of course, educational process, even if we go virtually, is something that cannot be executed in a centralized manner. So one thing that we have to introduce or emphasize is a viral process of disseminating the idea of the Charter, or even make sure that people knows that the Earth Charter exists and what are the contents of the Charter. So this is important so that people can go deep and deeper and deeper in the content of the Charter. And many of them will adapt to their context again, an educational process that will make sense. Imagine a very poor community. So how would be the educational process in a very poor community in which you have a lot of illiterate people? Then we have to think actually the peoples of that community should think in using the Charter their way. So the educational process may be very different from some program that we can even create in Brazil or in the United States or Costa Rica or Europe in a more, I'd say, advanced society, or educated people with educated people. So these are the contexts in which education should be created, very adapted to each context, and this is the most, the highest challenge we have, because we still are thinking, educating certain segments of the world population, which is still very small. We have to spread out the whole thing and also think in different kinds of education that will reach the billions and not the thousands. This is the process that we can make sure that the full potential of the Earth Charter will be realized. The focus in the Center for the Education for Sustainable Development is something that will concentrate, will focus the energy in one place. So the whole idea of the new project will make sure that the premises are adequate for dialogue. So the whole layout should be designed to permit wide dialogue or deep dialogue among people from different cultures. So this is very within the spirit of the Charter, this dialogue, very wide spread intercultural dialogue that will happen here. But of course, this is something that we can do having the people here. But the whole idea is to evolve in the sense of worldwide classes. So transmit those classes through the internet for different parts of the world. So this is how I see. It's not another classroom, another school in which we'll reach maybe hundreds of people. But the whole idea is using the symbol, using this place where experts of the world can come and conduct sessions that will reach millions throughout the world. This is the symbolic power of this new emphasis in the center in Costa Rica. Well, the center is still in designing. Let's say the main building is there, but now is the designing of the interior of the center will be the key. For example, the auditorium or the settings should be something that will be very good for these very open dialogues. We have to think about multilingual events in here. We have to make sure that we will bring thinkers of different parts of the world to participate also at the faculty of those programs. And so this is something that still we are designing together, so that even the premises will be very adequate for transmission, so that the whole settings of lighting, etc., should be very well designed so that we can tape or video transmit through videos, filming the whole thing so that we can make more and more people participate in those global classes, let's say, global sessions. So still, we need a lot of suggestions and ideas to transform this basic building in a place that will be different and quite adequate for the purpose it was created.